once again, Steve Martin, the next class that's coming up is the pathway to be the next Mike Jones in Australian Superbike Championship racing. That is, of course, the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. Let's find out more about this wonderful championship.
To get to racing's elite level and end up like MotoGP's Jack Miller, then you need to start young. And in order to do that, you need the right support to get out on track. And that is exactly what the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup is doing right now.
The level that it's grown, it's actually surprised us. I mean, we had this vision of where we were hoping to be after 3 years. We've come through those first 3 years, also being COVID, but the result has been fantastic. 60 kids. Of that, we've had 5 go off over to Asia Talent Cup. We've had 2 go off over to Red Bull Rookies Cup. There's around 9-10 kids over racing in Europe somewhere, doing some sort of amazing experience. And then domestically, if you look at the 300 field, more than 50% of the top runners are OJC kids, and they're filtering through at this amazing rate. And now, at this stage, in our 4th year, we're starting to see some of those kids now filter into the 600 class as well. So the success story couldn't have been any better. We have some real core sponsors that continue to grow with us. FIM Oceania has continued not only to continue to support us, but to grow that investment in the program. You know, we've got real key sponsors like Racondi, who come from the start and have been with us all the way, but we've got a number of new sponsors on board as well. Dunlop's come on board, Shark, and as well as that, we've now got Speed Angle involved as well, IRC tyre warmers. But the icing on the cake for us this year is scoring Gary McCoy as a coach for the kids. To get somebody of that calibre involved in the program, so passionate about what we're doing, and the opportunities that he can bring and develop with these kids. And you can see that connection already developing. So it's an amazing opportunity for them.
This year, the opportunity became available again, and I just thought, you know, what better way than come out and help these young guys and share my experience of the sport to them. There's so many things they need to learn in this sport to, you know, go places. You know, whether it's riding the bike, whether it's off track, training, nutrition. You know, there's kids here that I'm coaching now that are unbelievably fast, you know, and some of them have got dirt bike background experience, and that definitely helps a little bit. Some of the other guys haven't even ridden a dirt bike, and they're just so talented and get on with the job.
So how did you get started in OJC?
Me and my dad have driven over from WA, and we're going to spend 3 months here and do the 3 rounds over here, over East. Well, my dad's been racing for 8 to 9 years now, and I've been helping him out in the pits and being his pit crew, so I've just thought, yeah, I'll give it a shot too.
It's my favourite sport or hobby that I've done of all.
And what do your friends at school think about you being a rock star motorcycle racer?
I always get messages from my mates saying how good I am.
They don't know much about it at all, but they think it's kind of scary and weird how I do this. They don't know anything about it. They think it's easy. You just sit there on a bike. No.
It's really great. These bikes are awesome, and I love the tracks and how fast the bikes go and how smooth the bikes are when you're riding.
Oh, the characters of the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. There's been some great riders come through that championship, Steve, and some of them have gone on to bigger and better things, as Martin Port told us, and the next generation of them are coming through now in this final race for them for this weekend. Levi Russo will start from the front row of the grid, along with Hudson Thompson, and also Hunter Corney, 10 years old, has already scored a race victory here this weekend.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive to see that from Hunter. He's done a really good job out there. But, you know, a lot of competition. We've seen Marcus Hamod from the second row of the grid also do well this weekend, and Ryan Larkin as well is up there. So, you know, the winners can come from anywhere in this field. Even if you go back as far as row 3 there, we saw Cameron Rendy also up there on the podium positions.
Yeah, took a victory at the last round. Also, big shout out to Abby Cameron doing a great job, although she's been, what'd you say, her dad's been racing for 8 to 10 years, but she was 12 or 13 years old. She wouldn't have been much help in the pit when she was 4 years old. Also great to see too, Nixon Frost all the way over from New Zealand, because his dad, Sloan, no stranger to racing here in Australia, and great to see the next generation of those riders coming through as well. Getting ready now for the 3rd and final race for the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. You can see some of the riders there have trouble just keeping the bikes up on the grid. think that might be Corny that took the race win in yesterday's race. He actually crossed the line in second place, but was awarded the race win with a technical penalty, or a penalty given to the man that crossed the line first, Hudson Thompson. Ready to go racing for Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. Junior Cup is go. A couple of R15 front wheels going well and truly into the air there as the field makes their way down the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start-finish straight and into Alpine Stars Turn 1 for the first time. It looks like it will be Corny that leads into Turn 1. The rest of the field now streaming their way through. Looks like Hudson Thompson got a pretty good start. Also Harrison Watts on board bike number 14 right up there as well. Someone coming through a big move just at the apex there of Turn 2. That looked like bike number 68, Ryan Larkin. That was a big move.
Yeah, Ryan Larkin made his way forward up there. He's up in the 6th position at the moment. He's on a mission already using that slipstream effect to the most. Cameron Rende, though, from 8th is already into that 4th position. It looks like he's going to make another move up the inside there. 3 or 4 wide as they go through that bottom corner there. 2 and 3 in this Queensland Raceway Park corner.
Out on the Dunlop now, the field makes their way down there. They're all changing positions. From that angle, you couldn't see who was leading, Steve, as it looks like a swarm of bees making their way down the back of the circuit now and into Honda Corner, which has caught a few people out this weekend. A few big out-braking manoeuvres coming down in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, this part of the race is all about settling yourself down. I mean, these young kids, you know, as you know, they're 11 to 6 to 15 years old. They really do need to, like, they've got a lot of adrenaline that they need to sort out. But you really do need to keep everything calm, as you can see. Big sweep around the outside there.
Yeah, Hunter Corney still leading the race on board bike number 40 ahead of Harrison Watts and also Hudson Thompson. Just looking back through the field to see where a couple of our other riders are. Sam Drain on board bike number 7. So he's sitting back in about 8th place, of course. His brother Tom racing here in the Supersport category as well.
Really beautiful sweeping lines from Hunter Corney out front. He just does like take that old classic, let's say Mike Howard, if you remember that far back.
Jorge Lorenzo.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep that mid-corner speed up. Big moment there for...
that was Cameron
Rende, who's come from 8th position on the grid all the way up to in the challenging positions.
Replicate your Turn 2 effort, it looked like there, Steve, but managed to keep it on track.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. You want to keep it on track here, and it looks like he's going to try and dive up the inside, but not quite. It's Ryan Larkin who takes away.
He had a nice tight line there on the exit, and he's still got a tight line. Tries to get into the slipstream now of number 68 of Ryan Larkin as they make their way down Dunlop and towards Honda Corner for the second time. Of course, 6 laps the journey for the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, their 3rd and final race of the weekend.
There's a couple of different lines through there. You can see some of the riders take that tight inside line. Others prefer to sweep out to the ripple strip, which gives them a better drive onto that back straight. Oh, that looks like Alexander Cody running a little bit wide there. Not meant to be out that far off the track.
A lot of these riders come from a dirt track background, but that's where they get a lot of experience on making sure that the bike, they can slide it, doesn't really inhibit their forward progress. And who better to teach them how to do that than their coach this year, Gary McCoy. What a coup for motorcycle in Australia to get such a legend on board.
Well, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing that he doesn't know about a motorcycle. He still lives and breathes them, so to give that knowledge to these kids is incredible. Foot off the peg there for Ryan Larkin as well. A little bit bumpy through that part of the circuit. These guys travelling at about 140, 150 k's an hour on these little R15s through that big, long curve.
Yeah, they certainly get them cranking through to that area there where they're just coming out of now determines their speed at the end of this long straight where that speed trap is. And as you mentioned, Steve, they're nudging 150 kilometres an hour from the little R15s as they come down into the braking zone now. Up the inside is that bike number 13, that's Marcus Hamon, who's also doing duty in Supersport 300 here this weekend and making his way out onto that middle straight now, back in 2nd position. I think it was Ryan Larkin that went back into the lead on board the 68 machine.
Yeah, Larkin made that good move. He cut back on the inside. Mod went a little bit wide, and that allowed Larkin to get back in front.
Also, too, we mentioned Hunter Corney, how well he was riding early on. He was up in the lead. He's back to 7th place now, but that's not unusual in this class. Riders can yo-yo backwards and forwards in that lead group. Like, pretty much the entire field is covered by only a couple of seconds as they make their way down out of Yamaha Financial Services and into Pirelli now. Up the inside goes bike number 14, Harrison Watts. Tries to go into the lead, going around the outside, taking the high, wide line. Didn't quite see who that was. I think that might have been, was that bike number 60, or no, bike number 80. That would have been Cameron Rende.
As they head over the line, Phil, this is close. The top 8 are within 1.2, and the rest are not too far behind as they dive into Alpine Stars corner. And Harrison Watts just sits there in that 3rd position. He led over the line. That's how much he lost in the slipstream there.
Well, it was Cameron Rende into the lead momentarily. He went out wide on the exit of turn 1, got nipped up the inside from turn 2. I think that was Hudson Thompson that came back. Then he was back into the lead by the time they came out of turn 2 and down the back straight towards Ducati corner. He's now about to get swamped as they come in on the brakes. Can he hold off the descending hordes as they make their way through that corner and out onto Dunlop now? He's gone back to the 3rd position. It's Ryan Larkin that's gone back into the lead on board the 68 machine. Marcus Amott is also in that group as well on board bike number 13. And Hunter Corney went from 6th to 3rd to 6th in the space of 2 corners.
Yeah, Hudson Thompson's in that group as well, so keep an eye on him. He can run at the podium pace. Oh, we've got a faller. Think that
could be Cameron Rende. There he is, number 80.
Young South Australian's out. He's had a lot of success in this class, but unfortunately, the little Yamaha man's been caught out at Honda corner.
So, bike number 14, it is that leads now. That is Harrison Watts making his way through AMMF corner and out onto the straight. Here is a replay of that incident. You can see he just had the bike cranked over. Looks like his foot peg may have even hit the ground. And
he lost the front earlier than that. He just was like trying to take that tight inside line and just lost the front, and down he went there.
Actually, probably lucky not to collect one of the riders in front as well.
Yeah, and you can see all he's worried about is that he's fallen off. He's already given the ground a little bit of a tap there. So Cameron Rende totally okay, but unfortunately for him, it's the end of the day.
We're on lap 5 now of the 6-lap journey. Things are starting to heat up at the front as Ryan Larkin runs off the track, does a good job to keep it. The throttle didn't shut it too quickly and got back on track, didn't lose too much momentum. He's only dropped back to 5th place. But they're 3 abreast down the front straight.
What he's lost, though, is he's lost that drive over the whole length of the straight. So he'll be lucky to be in the back of that group. Yeah, he's managed to hold it, but he's really lucky he got away with that. You can't afford to lose any momentum in this class.
That was a late braking manoeuvre that got him back into contention there. As we now go 4 abreast down the internal straight out of Dunlop corner, heading towards Honda. If anything, Steve, that lead group has closed up a fraction.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that group now, that whole group is pretty much just 2 seconds. So, you know, someone down in 10th or 12th, it's not out of the question that they could win this race yet.
Abby Cameron is the next rider through after this lead group. You should see her coming back into view there. She is just behind this lead group. As we come down into Pirelli corner once again. It is bike number 40 of Hunter Corney that's back up into the lead now. So he's moved forward 6 positions over that last lap.
Just on Abby Cameron, the young West Australian is also has the honour of holding Brian Starring's umbrella on the grid for the Superbike race today. So you may see her out in the Superbike grid as well. Pretty exciting for her.
So there's Hunter Corney back into the lead. Around the outside, there's that Hudson Thompson on board bike number 41. No, it was 13, Marcus Hamod, that was doing a good job trying to get good drive through here at turn 2 to get out onto the back straight. Very important to get the run up Suzuki and into Ducati corner. See them all trying to use the slipstream there as they make their way down towards Ducati now. Just having a look to see who's getting the good run, because they seem to get a good run, then all of a sudden they pull out of the slipstream and their forward progress is halted somewhat.
Yeah, absolutely. This is still anyone's race in this top 6 or 7 at the moment as they head out of Dunlop. This important part of the track now to get that drive into that final AMMF Pirelli corner complex there.
And it's the one that you highlighted earlier on in the weekend, is the one that could make or break your opportunity to win the race, especially as we're on the last lap now through Honda for the final time. The group has closed right up. There are 4 or 5 riders that could possibly win this race depending on what happens at this final corner. It is Larkin that is in the lead. Harrison Watts is in 2nd place. What can Watts do? Can he put a manoeuvre on the brakes to try and get up the inside of Ryan Larkin? He's going to have a red-hot go. Tries to get up the inside. Oh, couldn't quite do it. That was very, very close. He's got in the third place on the podium, and I think Harrison Watts has timed his run to the line to perfection.
But does he manage to hold the drive? Because keep an eye on Larkin.
Here comes Harrison Watts and Larkin's in line. I think it is Harrison Watts that will take the checkered flag, and that will be, I think, his first race win in the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. Ryan Larkin in second. Hudson Thompson will take third place. There was .041 between first and second, and I think Harrison Watts, just looking at the body language, Steve Martin is relatively happy with that effort.
Absolutely. That was a brilliant ride by Harrison Watts. He just took that tight line on the final curve, went up the inside there and managed to nip past Ryan Larkin, hold his nerve and get a well-deserved win.
They're congratulating each other as they make their way down the Suzuki Straight. On their way back to the pits. Our top three will be back in park from very, very soon. But yeah, great effort there from Harrison Watts on board bike number 14. I think that will be his first win in the championship. Ryan Larkin in second place and Hudson Thompson in third. Sam Drain took a sensational fourth place. Hunter Corney was in the lead group, was back as far as sixth, ended up finishing fifth on board bike number 40, but he's taken a win so far this weekend at only 10 years old. Great effort from him. Marcus Hamod in sixth place, Alexander Cody in seventh, the Brody Page in eighth, Levi Russo in ninth, and John Pelgrave rounds out the top 10 with Tieran Fleming in 11th, William Hunt in 12th, Abby Cameron in 13th, Elijah Andrew in 14th, Lachlan Moody in 15th, Toby James in 16th, and Nixon Frost, our last finisher, in 17th position. Glenn Nelson sitting there on the front row of the grid, been doing a sterling job this weekend.
It's been a strong weekend for the Kawasaki riders as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, Jonathan Nalos and also James Jacobs doing great work this weekend. I think JJ was on the podium in race 2. Jacobs took victory in race 1.
Sam Pazzetta's back out there too on the number 51 Unitec racing machine.
He had a podium in the R3 Cup earlier on, so he's one to keep your eye on as well. But let's have a look at that grid. Glenn Nelson, Cameron Dunker and Henry Snell, they've been at the front of the action all weekend. They'll start from the first row of the grid with Nalos Jacobs and Liam Waters, who had a big crash earlier on. Hopefully they've been able to get that bike fixed. Should be starting from row 2.
Yeah, Liam Waters, what a job he has got to do. He was pretty competitive out there, wasn't he? I mean, he had that crash earlier on with Teo Aksu starting from the back of the grid, who did a brilliant job to come through. Hayden Nelson starting on row 3 is another guy that you need to keep an eye on, because he's been making his way forward and improving every time that he gets out on the track. There's quite a few guys, and we just saw Ollie Simpson. What about Mitch Simpson, who's in this one? And I think his brother could be out there too, isn't he?
Jordan Simpson on 23.
Yeah, so it's this is the other part of the Simpson family race, the 300s, the two guys in the 300 race. So pretty exciting weekend for that family. They've already got the one trophy. I'm sure they're going to be going for a few more this time round.
They're coming around to take up their positions on the grid now. Third and final race for the Dunlop Supersport 300s. Keep your eye on that man. Henry Snell been doing a great job so far this weekend, but he was fast at the last round as well, so no surprise to see him going so well here at Queensland Raceway. And it looks like, is that Liam Waters on 181? They've been able to get that bike fixed. Unfortunately, Teo Aksu, we've been advised, Steve, won't be taking part in this. Some injuries sustained in that crash in race 2 earlier this morning. That's the end of his weekend, but he'd been on fire. I think he had to start from the grid and had a couple of podiums.
Yeah, back of the grid, yeah.
And had done a really, really good job. But we're getting ready to go racing now. Dunlop Supersport 300, third and final race of the weekend. In the starter's hands. Lights are out. Supersport 300 is go. And it looked like a pretty good start there from Glenn Nelson. But what about Snell? He's coming up the inside. Will he be able to get up the inside of Cameron Dunker and lead them through turn 1? He will. Great start there from Henry Snell on board bike number 12. Dunker in second. Nelson tries to go around the outside of Dunker as they go down towards MA corner turn 3. Come through Michelin and out onto the back straight for the first time. And that's exactly what he's done.
Yeah, Dunker just had to back off a little bit in there to the Michelin corner, but he's back on the gas now. He's got an inside line there. Got the slipstream. Side by side they go. It's Jonathan Naylor on the inside. Takes the lead on the brakes, but up the inside.
That's Nelson.
That's Hayden Nelson. What a great job.
already come from about 5th or 6th position to lead the field out of turn 3 and onto Dunlop for the first time on this in this race. It is a 10-lap journey, so there's going to be plenty more opportunities to do that same thing again.
Absolutely, but you've got an absolute cracker of a start. He comes in wide up the inside. That looks like it could be Jonathan Naylor, who's taken back the lead again on the Kawasaki.
I'll tell you what, who hasn't got a good start in race 1 victor, James Jacobs on board the Kawasaki Ninja 400. As we said, great support from Kawasaki Connection this weekend. He is way back in 10th position, trying to make his way forward. Looked like he may have just got up the inside of Simpson. Oh, we've got one down. Is that Nelson?
That is Hayden.
Yep, Hayden Nelson on board bike number 279.
Well,
because Hayden Nelson and Glenn Nelson, no relation to each other.
No, Glenn Nelson on the number 39 machine takes the lead as they head into that super fast Alpine Stars Turn 1. On the AMX replay, up the inside goes the 279 machine. Tries to keep that mid-corner speed up, but it's Naylor that has to back off. Nelson, nowhere to go, runs into the back of him. So it was a bit of a concertina effect there, and unfortunately, that was the end of the race for him.
Just tagged the back of the machine there in front. As coming up the inside is Waters. So Liam Waters down the inside. Oh, Cameron Dunker just shuts the door well and truly in his face as they come into the apex of the corner. Oh, a bit of a big moment there. I think that may have been Brody Gorwith on board bike number 25, who looked like he had to sit up and was thrown out of the seat of his Yamaha R3.
Bit of a lead now for Glenn Nelson out front. He's certainly made the most of the chaos behind him.
Yeah, that was all of that incident turn 6, wasn't it? He just managed to get that little bit of a lead. He's managed to hold station now. Did a 1:29.1 from a standing start, did Glenn Nelson. What's he going to be able to do on this first flying lap of the race? As you can see, Nalos there blipping the throttle, coming down through the gears, just tucking in behind Cameron Dunker as they make their way out of AWMF corner, turn 6. And onto the straight, Cameron Dunker saying, tuck in behind me. You know for a fact they won't take
it. The fairy coming off that. Yeah. That's number 23 machine.
That's Jordan Simpson's machine.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably get a red flag because that could very well go under the back wheel.
Yeah,
I don't know if Jordan actually knows if there's a problem with that bike yet. But
no, he doesn't. I think that's, he'll get that's a black flag for him 100%. So they'll clear that up. But once again, the number 32 machine there. And that is Jai Russo, just uses all the track a little bit more, manages to hold it together. But Simpson still out on track with that fairing hanging off. Dunker up the inside.
And Snell got hung out to dry there, was on the outside of the circuit as both Cameron Russo and Jonathan Naylor tried to tip into the corner. Snell had nowhere to go. He desperately wanted to tip in, but the track was taken. Here comes Jacobs as well on board the Kawasaki. You can see those half green, half white leathers starting to make his way forward. He's onto the back of Snell's machine now.
Well, Nelson has got a pretty much 1 second lead, but apart from that, there's like 5 or 6 of them. He's seen that now. Don't lean in now. You've made it this far. You just need to pull off to the inside, buddy.
There's a fair bit of undercarriage reassessment needs to happen there for, unfortunately, Jordan Simpson on the 23 machine. So it is still Nelson that leads. Fastest man on the last lap of 22.803. He's just done a 22.833, so 3/100ths of a second slower on that last lap. Look at him. You made the comment earlier on, Steve Martin, about his form, how he's able to get in behind the screen and really tuck in Moto 3 style through this fast part of the track. Look at that. Repositions his body, get in underneath the screen. He's probably one of the tallest riders in this field, but his aerodynamic efficiency has been pretty impressive so far this weekend because he's been super fast down there.
Absolutely. James Jacobs is also coming into the fray now. Look at that. Up the inside he goes, past Henry Snell.
Well, he showed in yesterday's race 1 where he took the victory that he wasn't scared to put it all on the line into the corners and use those brakes to the best of his ability. As he pulls out now from Nalos' slipstream, goes past JJ as the two ninjas battle at the front of this field. Into a Honda corner. I think it is Jacobs that's moved up into 4th position now, or 3rd position, getting the better of Nalos and also Henry Snell, as Jacob says, tuck in behind me. Once again, we know there'll be no notice taken of that instruction.
Well, absolutely not. Absolutely
or request.
Not.
Instruction or request?
Well, request, not an instruction. Up the inside, Nalos looks, but there's not much happening there. Sam Pizzetta's on the back too. He wants to go past. He's not going to take any notice either. of the request of James Jacobs.
Well, he's had his first podium so far this weekend, so he's going to be wanting to make sure that he continues that run of form as we continue around this very tricky part of the circuit. This is one of the areas of the circuit that it was good to go out and walk yesterday, Steve Martin, because it's a lot different to what it looks from spectator land when you're actually out there on the circuit.
100%, it really is. It's slightly off camber there, easy to make a mistake, easy to run wide. You get out on that ripple strip, you compromise your drive down into this bottom corner here. So you do really need to get it pinpoint, accurate, perfect every time.
Cameron Dunker has managed to catch up to Glenn Nelson and take the lead. On the last lap, he did a 1:22.186, which is the fastest lap of the race. So Dunker is on a charge now. As you mentioned, he's been doing a lot of training with Max Stouffer, who is making his Superbike debut this year in the Alpine Stars Superbike class. Training very hard in the gym, both of them, but also you were hearing that Glenn Nelson is one of the bigger riders out there on the field, but he's busy doing the cycling, so he's obviously using Troy Herfoss's fitness levels as an inspiration as Dunker goes back into the lead now on board the GTR's Motorstars team.
Yeah, these two guys are really sort of like working well together to slipstream themselves away from the pack. Although they're dicing, they're not really slowing each other up. They're not cutting each other off. They're using each other's slipstream to pull away from the pack, and that's a pretty decent lead they've got now. 2 seconds over the rest of the field. It's going to be really hard for Jonathan Naylors to come back from that one. So these two guys working together, whether they're meaning to or not, I don't even think they're meaning to really, but the speed, they've got fairly similar speed out there at the moment, and it's given them a pretty comfortable 2.2 second lead now.
I think they know that they're going to have to just keep it together and then fight it out over the last lap to see who's going to take the race win. Dunker has taken a win in race of the ASBK Cup, but not in Supersport 300 as yet. Oh, desperate to try and do that. Speaking of desperate, there's a few desperate moves going on back in the pack now. That was, I think that was Nalos, wasn't it, on board bike number 20 that had a bit of an out-of-the-seat moment there. Yeah, well, on the exit of turn 3.
All pretty tight in that massive group of 5 people looking for that last spot on the podium. So remember that too. That's you know, that's a group that you don't want to end up at the back of at the end of the race. Sam Pizzetta makes a move now on Naylors.
Yep, up into well, onto the ducktail of Jacobs' machine. Tries a little bit wider line there. Falls into the slipstream now and makes sure that he can try and get the drive down the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start to finish straight and into Alpine Stars corner turn 1. Can he go up the inside? No. Nalos, I think, repays the favour and goes back ahead of Pizzetta.
That was a real nice move there too. He just nipped up the inside. It's not that slow right there. It's a very fast corner entry, so to be able to have the perception to dive up the inside there is, you know, it's a good asset to have, especially moving forward.
Here we come down the straight on lap 7 of the 10-lap journey. It is still Nelson and Dunker with a pretty handy lead over the rest of the field. As these 5 riders try and sort out their positions, but have a look at what's happening right behind. Rich Simpson and Liam Waters, if anything, are actually catching up onto the back of this group.
Yeah, like Waters is there. Remember, he had the crash earlier on today, so you know he'd like to get to the end, and he's on the cusp of a good result if he can work his way through this group somewhat.
Well, that little group is now has turned into an 8-rider group, really, hasn't it? With all of them just strung out line of stern from Jacobs in 3rd position. The gap to our race leaders is about 3.6 seconds from Jacobs' 3rd position.
Jonathan Naylors there just trying to see if he can get up the inside of James Jacobs. Couldn't quite do that. Henry Snell gets the slipstream. Can he dive up the inside this time? James Jacobs moves to the front. Tight on the entry there.
Looks like a few big bumps on the entry into turn 1 as well.
That was brave going in that tight into that corner, but I mean, obviously these little 300s don't have the same speed as the Superbikes, but nevertheless they're still travelling.
That was almost another tag there on the back of Jacobs' machine. The Naylors pulled out to utilise the slipstream. I think Snell has also used it to the optimum ability. Look at the front end of Pizzetta's bike, bouncing up and down like a pogo stick on the brakes. And James Jacobs, who was running in 3rd place only 1 corner ago, Steve Martin, has been relegated. What's that, 4 and about to be almost 5 positions?
Yeah, it's You just make one gear change wrong or shut the throttle at one point wrong, and you can lose 3 or 4 places in this field in an instant.
Nothing's changed at the front with Nelson and Dunker. If anything, getting further and further away. Still the fastest man in this race is Cameron Dunker, a 1:22.105, the fastest lap of the race.
Well, it's all going to come down to the last lap for Dunker now. He really is sat there for long enough. There's no point trying to get past right now. He needs to sit there and make his move on that final lap. See if he can get, shake Glenn Nelson up. Look at him. Look how close he is. He's right on the back wheel. It looks like one rider going past.
Well, and also, too, these guys are just 0.6 of a second faster lap after lap than the rest of the field at this point in time. So, obviously, the higher track temperatures not affecting these guys as much as everybody else.
Look at that style of Glenn Nelson. It's unique as well. He really does like lean that bike over quite a bit.
Looks like Jack Miller when he was riding the Lado 3.
He does.
He's got the Jack Miller replica helmet on. As he comes down to Ducati corner now, turn 3. Gets the drive out of here and down the internal straight. You can see there he's much bigger than Cameron Dunker, but he's doing a great job to manoeuvre his body underneath that fairing and try and get as much top speed out of the Yamaha R3 as possible. Through Honda we go. They're on lap 9 of the 10-lap journey, so they'll get the last lap board at the end of this race, at the end of this lap.
Well, now we'll see what plan Cameron Dunker's got, because he's had all that time now to think about what he's going to do. You can just see him there breathing on the brakes. Is he going to dive up the inside, try and slipstream down the back straight? But he will know where he's stronger. But once again, you see the number 39, he has to really lift his butt off the seat and move it back to get him into the position he wants, and it really does upset the bike.
He gets great drive out of that final corner, though. I'm not sure if Dunker comes out of the final corner, he's going to have enough slipstreaming ability to try and get past before the start-finish line. As Snell moves up into 3rd position now. This is a cracking battle with what's that, 7-8 riders now battling for the final place on the podium. Whoever gets there is it's going to be a well-deserved podium for them as they come out onto the back straight through Suzuki for the final time. It is Nelson that still leads only just from Dunker. Is he planning a move into a Honda corner? He's going to need to get good drive out of here. Try and get a run down the inside on the brakes. Will Cameron Dunker, as Nelson goes right to the inside of the track. He's not leaving any room for Dunker to try and get up the inside as he fans out now. Here comes Dunker up the inside. He gets the run into a turn 4. He needs to hold it now. He's gone wide. Nelson comes back up the inside. He's got one more opportunity, Steve, and that is at the final corner, AMMF corner, but I think Nelson's got too much of a lead.
Yeah, he certainly has. Dunker's going to have to get desperate if he dives up the inside. He's gone to the outside. He's going to do a cut pass if he can. He's going to try and nip up the inside, but if Nelson's smart, he'll cut that line off. Nelson cuts it off.
As they come to the line now, it is Nelson with Dunker riding his slipstream. Dunker's trying to pull out of the slipstream, but I think Nelson might just be able to hang on for another victory. He does by 0.043 of a second. And the final battle for the podium is going to be a 4-way tie across the line. And I think Snell may have just got it on board bike number 12.
It was. Henry Snell and Jonathan Nolis just took that 4th position there.
A good battle here between Clay Clegg and Jaden Martin, it looks like, as they come to the line. Looks like Martin's got the good drive out of the corner. Clegg pulls into the slipstream. Can Clegg get out of there? No, he can't, and he has to play second fiddle to Jaden Martin as they come across the line in that battle for 12th and 13th position.
Yeah, pretty impressive ride by those guys. But what about Glenn Nelson? I mean, what an incredible day. What an incredible weekend he's had. I mean, he's been the man. He shouldn't be that fast on these bikes because look how big he is.
And he's so consistent across all of the races. Yeah. He was always there. He was always in the lead group. The only anomaly was when he finished in 6th position in yesterday's first race. He takes that win by 0.043 of a second over Cameron Dunker. Henry Snell gets the battle of the 8 riders battling for the last place on the podium to finish in 3rd place ahead of Jonathan Naylor. Sam Pizzetta in 5th. James Jacobs, race 1 victor yesterday in 6th. Mitchell Simpson in 7th place. Brodie Gorwith in 8th. Jai Russo in 9th. Liam Waters rounds out the top 10. And a bit of a gap then back to Nate O'Neill and Jaden Martin in 11th and 12th position. Clay Clegg in 13th.
There was a couple of guys that spread away. It's normally everyone together, but your fight wasn't that easy. I think there was 80s in that group. About 3rd place, Henry. Your first time on the podium today. You've had a few races, but you lead the championship. So, happy?
Yeah, I'm absolutely stoked. Like, just to get that third is just going to boost my championship lead just a little bit more, so couldn't be any happier.
No, it's fantastic to see. You had the battle, so congratulations today. Good job, mate. Cameron, you were in that group. I know Glenn got away from you early on. You made the gap back. You set the fastest lap of the race. It looked like you were settled there to make the pass, but you didn't quite get it done.
No, it was a really close race. Didn't end up getting the pass made, but yeah, it was a pretty good race. Pretty happy. Pretty happy to close that gap as well. Just like to thank KYT Helmets, Dr. Mac, Rakondi, RS&C, Heath, Jamie, just everyone who helps me.
Congratulations, mate. Good luck for the next round as well. And Glenn, I keep seeing you up here. You've been very dominant this weekend. Like I say, you're not the shortest guy in this championship, but you managed to get tucked in on that 300. Did you realise you had that gap early on?
Yeah, I started putting in low 22s, and then you stopped hearing the bikes around me apart from Cameron, and then I knew it was just going to be a dogfight between me and him. And when he passed me at turn 4, there was enough room to go back. It was a bit of a scary pass, but it worked out in the end.
Oh, you did a fantastic race. You've been dominant all day today, so it's great to see. Like I keep saying, guys, these are the stars of the future, so look out for them on Superbikes in just a few years' time.
Welcome back to Queensland Raceway, and 2 more races left on today's program. The third and final race for the Yamaha Finance R3 Cup, and then the Horsell sidecars to round out today's program. And Steve Martin, that's going to be another chapter of the Cameron Dunker versus Glenn Nelson battle that we've been seeing going on all weekend across multiple classes, and they're about ready to do it once again for 8 laps.
Yeah, I think there might be a few other people involved in that race as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. Of course, we've got, you know, plenty of people that can take it. Hamid, of course, who qualified on the front row. Mitch Simpson, Waters as well on the number 181 machine. He's good. Hayden Nelson, who had a crash earlier on today, but nevertheless led the race for a little bit. So, you know, this is the last opportunity for these guys to get glory, take home the trophy. So, you know, we might see something a little bit special this time.
Also, Sam Zetter on board bike number 51. He's been on the podium this weekend. He's first at ASBK level, so keep your eye on young Sam on board bike number 51 as well.
Hey, on that, what about the Unitec Racing Team weekend that they're having so far?
It's been a sensational weekend, so unfortunately Arthur just didn't quite get onto the podium, but still, that was a sensational result for Arthur in Alpine Star Superbike Race 2.
Absolutely. 4th place is nothing to sneeze at in a field like that. So, you know, good job for him. And that would have given the team and also Sam a bit of a boost. So watch out for the number 51.
So Cameron Dunker will start from pole position with Nelson and Marcus Hamod starting next to him on that front row of the grid. But keep your eyes on the second row of the grid as well, and also row 3. Some fast starters on there. I'm just trying to see if Laura Brown is actually out there.
I haven't seen her.
No, I haven't seen her in any of the races today, so maybe some bike issues that she had earlier in the weekend have thwarted her attempt to race here at Queensland Raceway.
Yeah, she was definitely here. Yeah, she was definitely here on Friday and perhaps yesterday, but yeah, unsure.
So Glenn Nelson on that front row of the grid as well. Oh, sorry, Henry Snell on the front row of the grid as well. Keep your eye on bike number 12. He's been lightning off the start. Oh, sorry, Marcus Hamod on the front row of the grid. So getting ready to go in the starters' hands. Third and final racing for the Yamaha Finance R3 Cup. R3 Cup is go. Look like a pretty clean start there from everybody as they make their way off the line. It looks like Dunker's got a pretty good start. Can Nelson get the run down the inside? He can, and he will take the lead through turn 1. Alpine Stars corner for the first time as the big field streaks through there, and it looks like everyone has made it through safely with Nelson in the lead, Dunker in second. Just trying to see who that is in third place. Is that Waters on 181?
Yeah, it's Liam Waters. So good result from him. He's had an off earlier today, but he's already got that slipstream and down and leads all the way down that super long back straight and gets hard on the brake into the Ducati corner. So it's Liam Waters who leads the way on lap 1 of this race.
Looked like Hayden Nelson got a relatively good start as well as he moved his way up into 4th place now. I think getting the better of Sam Pizzetta as they make their way down Dunlop and into Honda Corner. Coming past the Marshall's Point there and in on the brakes. They're 3 abreast coming into turn 4 Honda Corner on the brakes.
I think that was Cameron Dunker that got hung out to dry. So, which is what happened to him in the last lap a couple of races ago, didn't it? So, like, he needs to look at his line into there.
Nelson coming down the inside, takes up the running now in 2nd position. Moving through is Hayden Nelson, who I think was trying to go up the inside of Dunker as well, but probably couldn't just get enough room to slot his Yamaha R3 through. Mitch Seta is also well placed there on board bike number 51. You can see him there on the inside.
Yeah, Mitch Simpson's up there too. There he is, just in the middle of the screen right now. So the Simpsons also having a good weekend this weekend.
So through turn 2. Outside we go! That's Nelson. I don't know how he's managed to save that, Steve. Can he keep the bike upright? He's done a sensational job to keep that bike upright.
Oh, no, you know what he needs to do now? Let's hope he grabs those brake pads to make sure that they're still there.
Because they would have been pushed back a little bit with that massive tank slapper that he had. Now this is all about trying to get some points back. You can see him just pulling the brakes on there. And he's got a lot of work to do now to try and find it. Let's have a look on the AMX replay of this. He loses the back end. How he's managed to keep that bike upright. Then keep it upright through the grass. Nearly lost the front end on the grass several times. How's the view that Liam Waters had of it? He got perfect view. I reckon he's probably just thinking, where's he going to crash so I can try and avoid it? Everyone's had to sit up and avoid the carnage.
That is lucky to get away with that.
Save of the day.
Absolutely save of the day. But look how much time he's lost. He's got like the whole field between him and the leader. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in this race later on. Like, he can slipstream his way back up there. He's dead last at the moment, but nevertheless, it's going to be interesting to see if his name pops up in a couple of laps.
If he gets back to win this race, that'll be more impressive than Teo Aksu's rear of the grid to podium in the Supersport 300 and R3 Cup races that we've seen earlier on this weekend. The race is currently being led by Sam Pizzetta on board bike number 51, trying to make it an even better weekend for the Unitech racing team. Speaking of South Australians on the chart, what about Mitchell Simpson on board bike number 66, sitting in 2nd place, pulled down the slipstream, down the inside he goes, but they're going to have to try and fight off a very hard braking Henry Snell on board bike number 12. Simpson goes a fraction wide, Snell goes to the inside, can't get the drive out, and so Mitchell Simpson, I think this will be the first time he's led the Yamaha Finance R3 Cup race.
Well, he'll be feeling pretty good at the moment, but I think Snell's about to nip up the inside of him. Snell looks like a pretty small character. Obviously, be a little bit more fast, or fast in the straight, and it looks like a couple of guys have snipped through, one of them being Snell.
And Cameron Dunker as well, the man that's had to play second fiddle to Glenn Nelson on more than one occasion this weekend. He'll be wanting nothing more than to take victory in this final Yamaha Finance R3 Cup race as they make their way through AMF corner now, come out to complete 3 laps of this 8-lap race. It is Dunker, if anything, just starting to pull away at the front. There goes bike number 23 of Jordan Simpson out of the slipstream. Tries to go up the inside of his brother. Can't quite get the job done. Good to see they've got the belly pan back in the position it's supposed to be and not flapping out on the other side of the motorcycle like we saw in the earlier Supersport 300 race.
Yeah, they were lucky to get away with that, so all good. But
Dunker.
Oh, no, he didn't need to do that. That's going to compromise the speed down the straight for sure. Henry Snell is there. What about Glenn Nelson? He's moved up to 12th now, so he's definitely still in that group. Be interesting to see what he can do. Sam Pizzetta hard on the brakes, makes up a spot.
The more that these guys battle at the front too, the more that Glenn Nelson on board bike number 39 is going to be brought back into the equation.
Well, guess who just set the fastest lap of the race? Glenn Nelson back down in 12th position.
122.0.
Yes, he's seeing red mist. That is 0.8 quicker than Cameron Dunker up the front. So he's on a mission at the moment. That's in traffic.
That's right. And let's have a look to see where he is. Is that him there?
There he is.
Sitting behind Nate O'Neill on board bike number 65. He'll make short work of the young Queenslander down the inside. Tries to also go up the inside of Jay Russo on the yellow bike there. It looks almost gold from the front. as he tucks in behind Russo now to use the slipstream down the front straight.
Well, there will be a massive slipstream for him. It's going to really help him.
Here he comes down the inside, gets the better of Russo. So he's overtaking riders at every single corner is Nelson on board bike number 39. There he goes up the inside of another one again. I think that may have been Brody Gorwith on board bike number 25 that he's got the better of coming through turn 2. We've got there from Liam Waters on board bike 181, just trying to pull out the slipstream as he goes down the inside. There's Nelson, he's back into that group.
Yeah, he's come from last to virtually, what position is he now? Is he like 6th or 7th?
Yeah, but he's in that group that he's now battling it out for second back because at the front, Cameron Dunker has made the break.
He has made a break, hasn't he?
Just managed to eke himself out in a very handy little lead here over the last lap or so. We're on lap 5. So Cameron Dunker doing a good job trying to get his first victory for the weekend.
And there goes Nelson up another spot. Just moved up in front of Mitch Simpson, I think, there.
I'll tell you what, Nelson is not out of this. He could very well end up second in this race.
Yeah, easy.
Because he's only got a couple more riders to go and he will be into second place. And we know he's got the pace to go ahead because, as you rightfully pointed out, Steve Martin, he's been doing cracking lap times.
Well,
on the last lap, he was the only rider apart from race leader, Cameron Dunker, that was in the 22s.
Yeah, it was a pretty impressive
in traffic.
Yeah, so that's right, massive traffic. So he's nearly at the front of that group now. So, yeah, he'll be kicking himself. Nevertheless, good recovery. Henry Snell right behind him. And then Waters, he's in podium contention.
Here we go. Nelson out of the slipstream. On the brakes down into turn 3. Ducati corner comes Snell. Down the inside, Simpson. He came from 4 or 5 places further back. Had a massive pair of rotors on display there as they came down into turn 3. Can he hold them off, though, as they get to Honda corner turn 4? Just have a look at this one again. Look at Simpson. He came from behind Pizzetta to take up the running in second position ahead of Snell and Nelson. That's one of the biggest outbreaking manoeuvres that we've seen in the Yamaha Finance R3 Cup, and there's been some big ones.
Well, there has, and he got away with it. So really impressive stuff from the number 66, Mitch Simpson, but still work to do because he's fallen back to third in that group, which means he's not on the podium. He's so close to the podium at the moment.
So there's Nelson saying, tuck in behind me. We know that no one will take any notice of that. And Nelson just repositions himself to try and get maximum aerodynamic efficiency as they make their way down the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance straight. Simpson back up into third place now, getting the better of, was that Snell or someone running off track there? Was that Liam Waters?
Just using the edge of the track a bit more, but everyone's all right.
Looked like the back end was starting to go on Nelson's machine again, so he certainly hasn't backed off after that massive moment that he had in that same area of the track only a couple of laps ago. On the penultimate lap now for the Yamaha Finance R3 Cup. It's, well, the action just has not stopped for the last 7 laps. The only thing that's happened between now and the first lap is that young Cameron Dunker on board bike number 3 has set sail for his first win this weekend, where he's had to play second fiddle to James Jacobs and Glenn Nelson so far in all of the races. But he looks on track now to be taking a victory.
No, absolutely. And look at Dunker. It's just incredible to see him so far in front at the moment. He's going to deserve this one, isn't he?
He has, and he's worked hard for it all weekend. He's made no mistakes, and he's just got himself away from the rest of this group and let them fight themselves for second and third position. And the very important championship points, because I think he was already in the championship lead, wasn't he, from the race that we saw earlier on. We're on the final lap now, so 3.13 kilometres to go. Dunker in the lead, Nelson back up to second. Simpson is well and truly in this battle for second place as well, along with Henry Snell and Liam Waters. Right behind them too, Sam Pizzetta.
I can't personally remember Simpson being on the podium. Has he been on the podium in this class
I don't think any of the Simpsons have been on the podium in this, apart from maybe Ollie a couple of years ago at the Bend, where he had a guest ride, and I think he had a race. Oh, that's someone down.
That's
Just trying to see who that is.
That's Simpson.
It's Jordan Simpson on board the 23 machine. So there's only one of the Simpsons left in this battle for the podium, and that would be Mitch Simpson on board bike number 66.
He's drifting
currently
back.
sitting back in 5th position,
Yep.
but anything can change at Honda Corner.
Well,
We've seen it already once or twice this weekend.
Well, maybe 4 or 5 times even. Here we go. It looks like it's Cameron Dunker's race to win.
Oh, I think it might be Nelson that is just hanging on, is it? No, he's tried to go up the inside of Waters. Simpson looks like he's in pretty good position here to try and make a charge, but he's got to get past a hard-braking Henry Snell as they all glue to the inside of the circuit. They fan out now and come across, and it is Henry Snell around the outside.
Big move. And look at Mitch Simpson up the inside there too.
So it is Snell that is in second place. Nelson trying to utilise the slipstream as Duncan comes to the line to take his first victory of the weekend. Henry Snell will get second. Nelson will get third after being off the track, high-sided, clearly out of the seat. Back to absolute last, Steve. And then comes Sue to take third place on the podium. Recovery for Glenn Nelson, but victory for Cameron Dunker, and he celebrates in style.
Absolutely. He deserves that. He's been playing second fiddle all weekend to Glenn Nelson, so for the youngster to get that result and for the Motostars team as well, I mean, brilliant stuff.
Yeah, great result for Cameron Dunker. Takes the win by 1.5 seconds over Henry Snell and Glenn Nelson. Liam Waters eventually finished in 4th. Mitch Simpson in 5th place. Hayden Nelson in 6th. Sam Pizzetta slipped back to 7th. Joe Russo in 8th. Marcus Hamod in 9th. Brody Gorwith rounds out the top 10 with Nate O'Neill, Jaden Martin, Clay Clegg and Jonathan Narlus finishing in 14th position. And Jordan Simpson, unfortunately, Steve Martin, when he was on for a podium, along with his brother Mitch, crashed out on the penultimate lap. But it's been a massive weekend. Can't wait for the next round at Wakefield Park. Not too long to wait. See you all at Wakefield Park.